Hi, old beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crits Cast, as we have some Monday night Highlander action for you. I am CeeJaey, and I'm going to be joined by Wiethoofd on the production, and Gamma as my co-caster. Gamma, you have the analytical brain of a computer. Are you excited for this extremely tense game?
I'm not sure if my programming allows me to express excitement, but it appears that we are starting to go live, CeeJaey.
Yes, we are going live here with Gimme opponent versus Funeral Service. This is season 31 of UGC Platinum. This is the European division. We're at the quarterfinal stage. The winner of this best of three will be going through to the semi-finals. And we have three maps: Upward, Product, and Lakeside. And this first map is going to be Upward, one and only payload map we have for you tonight. I'm CeeJaey, joined by Gamma and Wiethoofd over on the production. If I had to push you, Gamma, if I really had to, turn the old thumb screws and use that analytical brain of yours, based on what we can see so far on paper, who do you think is going to be victorious tonight?
Personally, actually, I think it will be Gimme opponents slash Envision. I think they just have the slightly better players across the board, and the Russians obviously having to run some players different than they'd like to makes it slightly more difficult for them. Something I've noticed actually straight away is Jorge was running crits at the very start of this round, so there are crits traps everywhere.
There are crits. I like how they're very passive traps as well. I don't know if they're expecting Boshi to do that fancy jump, like a skip jump over. They actually see Pluha and Boshi just going in for the big jumps behind. Reflect Pipe is going to take down the demo, dying to his own artillery there. The crit stickies remain undebted, so maybe they're going to be waiting for something like the heavy or somebody else to push forward. Whether those sticks have been called yet, I don't know. Heavy there, I think that's Marissa, tanked up as Walker, will go down to the pipes as well. So fending off that initial onslaught there, Gamma, and just probably waiting to try and get another pick.
Yeah, it looks like Boshi is getting in position to do another fancy jump on the right hand side here, but Lanzer was ready to potentially stop anything but their Zuber exchange going on, as it looks like Pluha walked forward. Sterno, though, is just being able to completely deny that Uber, diffusing it entirely. Situation at the moment, bit of chaos, as it appears that a few players are starting to go down, but the Sentry, crucially, is only level 1 now.
Yeah, the Sentry did go down, but that's pretty much all they got. They lost Pluha very early on in that exchange, and if you don't have your demo, trying to get any damage out, especially in Highlander, just spreading that damage at that medium range distance, it's going to be a very, very difficult task. At the moment, it's a bit of a war of attrition right now. Just both snipers taking pot shots at the enemy team, and everyone else just getting ready here. DQZ is going to use that conch. He's going to try and protect that kite. He's going to get some damage out, and he's going to scare Funeral Service away from trying to capture any more. And I think both teams here are just waiting for their Ubers and just going for another exchange, unless a huge pick comes out imminently.
Yeah, they're also kind of waiting on the showdown between Cloudy and Stingen, but we don't have time to talk about that, because as soon as they get the Uber, they're walking in, are the Russians. There's an exchange going on. The Sentry has not gone down. There are no significant kills coming out from the Uber, apart from the death of Boshi on the side of Sterno with the flamethrower kill there. But again, they're not going to get enough here. The cart barely even moved forward at all.
Yeah, there's actually 4 players on Funeral Service right now, still with 0 points. Stingen on a bit of a 4K there is going to take down Cloudy, so he's just lodged into that defense, but Vikman is going to finally take him down. So with that sniper out of play now, Cloudy on the respawn, maybe a chance for Funeral Service to get their sniper into position, but at the moment Boshi is jumping around, cleaned up by Lancer, and I think there's not really any aggression coming out that is threatening Gimme opponent. They're happy to just sit here and soak up the danger that's coming their way, and they haven't really lost anyone important so far.
They're doing some very good focus calls whenever anyone walks forward. They're going to be targeted down, but again, the Uber exchange almost immediately. No time to wait. They're trying to get down the Sentry with this Uber, but they're not really going to get it. They're moving the cart a little bit forward, but Pluha again struggling to stay alive. The detonator from Sterno is absolutely doing work, but it looks like with a few players starting to go down now, they might be able to edge forward, but no, it looks like Gimme opponent are still going to hold this. This is often an issue with Upward cracking that first point.
We talked about it, didn't we? About how that first point can either crumble very, very quickly, or it can be a bit of a hard and a bit of a war of attrition. Lanza's on a 7k, does get headshot there by Cloudy, so he's having that kill streak eliminated. Boschi's still on 0 points, hasn't really had a chance to have an effect here, making space for his team, but that space isn't being taken, but Cloudy will take down DQZ, starting to pop off a little bit here, getting a couple of kills in a row, takes another one, Stan goes down, Demo out of the picture, Jerkas is lurking behind, the Silver Master, Bluha is, oh yeah, Jerkas is going to take down Cloudy, but I think he's done enough work for the rest of his team to maybe take this Ubering. Now Bluha's going to take it, 4K at 99%, does get it just in time for them to use it, and again, Strono is there just trying to deny it, but they're playing very, very passive here. I think they might want to run away.
Not having your demo man makes holding this very, very, very difficult, so I think they've done the right thing here. They've actually kept the sentry up, repairing it, but it's sapped now. It's getting some damage onto the card, and it appears now that Gimme opponents are probably going to try and hold forward a little bit here, because most of their important players lived.
I honestly thought it was Stingen doing a lot of the work on the defense there, but Strono with so many points. I want to know how many of those are bonus points, or whether he was just, you know, getting a lot of kills. He's jumping around with that flare gun. Both spies have been taken out of the equation, so no sneaky for the time being. But now Boschi is trying to jump forward, gets a nice rocket onto Stan there, trying to get some space for his team, and they are walking forward. Pluha doesn't know what an S key is. He just walks forward and takes down Stan with the pipes. He just wants to get that damage done. And the rest of Gimme opponent are backing up. They're backing behind Aslex's sentry here, but it seems to be working as they're just picking off the weak players and just making sure that they don't give up too much ground on the second point.
Vickman comes in from behind onto Jorge and gets the all-important drop on the medic there. They've now lost all 3 of their combo members in succession. That was what prompted their retreat initially, and now not even having Uber to defend this means they're just going to go forward, actually using the conch to maybe try and get some damage onto the cart. If the cart can't be pushed, then they're not actually going to cap anything. Well, I suppose that kind of makes sense. They come forward with the Uber that was forced just to try and get the sentry. It still isn't dead. The sentry is still alive on a sliver of HP, being healed now. Pluha is totally alone, disconnected from heals entirely, and he's still alive. No, cleaned up by DQZ right at the very end. That aggression from Gimme opponent onto the cart, forcing the Uber, has saved this point for them.
That was huge from DQZ. He gets 2 kills on the cart, uses the conch, and just as a combination starts, you know, helping his team to block that cart. And like you said, there's no cart being pushed, you know, no objective. So Jorge does die there though. You're down for another 20 seconds. So 20 seconds without your med. Silver Master at 50% right now. Maybe this is a chance, you know, round 2. They've learned from their lesson. Make sure that people pushing the cart actually are able to push the objective forward. But with 4 minutes already gone and only 2 minutes left on the round timer, this is not going to be a very tasty time right now. And it does seem like Gimme opponent are the ones in control. Big jump in from Boschi, just taking that space, does manage to take down Strono. And I don't know, this is potential for a bit of a snowball here.
They'll definitely want to snowball with the full Uber ad, because Jorge died yet again there a couple of seconds ago. With this full Uber ad now, they can try and roll the cart forward, try and get some positioning onto this hill, which is often the hardest point on the map to push, and they nearly dropped to the stickies, but Silvermaster goes absolutely flying into the skybox. He used just in time. They're going to get control of this hill briefly, but Lanza just completely disrespecting the demo man walking forward, and again they have to give up this ground that they had literally just won.
And Lanza just keeps going forward. He keeps going forward. He takes down Silvermaster. No, he's running away now, and he dies. So there we go. Any potential scout mains watching right now, as soon as Lanza let go of his W key, he died. But while he was pressing that W key, he did take down Silvermaster. And now an advantage for Jorge. And I mean, this is the kind of point where we start to see the defending team get a bit more control, right? You know, it's going to be hard for them to break down. They have to get access to Jorge and get either a force or a drop or something done. Oh, a ball kill. Me whacks a ball in the face of Jerkas. That's a rare one, that is.
Don't often see that in your top right hand side. You know, it's going to be so difficult for them now to get forward here, because realistically they are going to want to get a bit more aggressive positioning before the Uber if they can. Boschi gets absolutely denied there with an attempted jump over his Pluha, actually, I think. I couldn't even see properly. But they're actually going to equalise on these Ubers now. It's quite hard to get into Jorge to force them, so it might just have to be an old-fashioned trade.
I like a good old-fashioned trade. Get a bit of exchange. I mean, someone needs to do something about Stingen right now, because He is on a roll. He's on a 4-kill streak right now. He's on a 5-kill streak right now. He keeps just peeking that corner. Oh, Pluha says, no, you've killed enough of my friends. I'm going to take you down. Throw some stickies. Look at DQZ though. He's getting so much damage onto Silvermaster for free. The Uber is going to come in, and like you said, Gamma, they need to get the exchange, but Jorge is so far away. He finally does use. He's going to be a much, much better Uber for Gimme opponent.
You know, I'm not entirely sure Jorge had to use there. They weren't able to get anything with that Uber, and now they actually give up a 20% disod. And it appears now that Funeral Service are going to be able to walk forward here. Silvermaster's a bit disconnected from players though. If Lanzard wanted to go for him, he probably could have. But it appears that Gimme opponent still haven't really fully backed out, and they probably should.
Oh, Stan, that is filthy. He just walks forward. The disrespect from this man right now. Takes down 2 with the stickies and another with the pipes. Just blocks that car all by himself. It is tantalizingly close right now. On my map, on my HUD, it looks like it's actually Cat. Bushy jumps in, gets the kill, but he can't actually push the car any further. Walker is going through this side house here with Meef and Marissa. They all want to try and get it. Meef is going to get the cap finally. 925 for the first 3 points, but it was a bit messy there, wasn't it?
It really was, and that post Uber Stan, you know, as I was literally saying, oh, they should probably back up. He just completely, you know, destroyed my reputation as an analyst. Walks forward and absolutely annihilates people on the cart, and now it appears there's going to be an exchange up the back stairs, but they didn't see it coming, and it appears that Fridge can just walk forward, but he's being reflected back. They're not really getting anything apart from the crucial stab on Stan. No demo man to deny this aggression. But look at them walking forward. The amount of damage that Gimme opponent are taking, they're going to have to back up. They have a teleporter up there, but that is now being destroyed, and poor Barth is stuck in a sightline waiting for anyone to please help him.
I don't think Pluha knows he's there. Oh no, you hate to see it. He was hiding behind the boxes and actually receives an arrow. If Pluha had only known, if just one pipe or sticky would have taken him down. But actually Barthes is now lodged in there, just very, very stubborn, like, no, I'm not leaving. This is my land. And with Pluha down, that lack of spam from the demo is really going to hurt them trying to take down the Sentry, which is currently level 1, but by the time Funeral Service get into position, it's probably going to be leveled up a little bit more.
I really like the positioning from Gimme opponents here. You know, they're just standing very far back, but they have all the entrances covered at the same time, and they're saying, you guys are going to have to come to us. And actually, that's exactly what Fridge is doing, just walking around the corner disrespecting, but they've lost Pluha again. Barth is in his little hidey hole on the top right hand side, getting so much damage off. He's so weak, but they're just showing him so much respect. And Uber has been forced off in a kind of an exchange situation, I think, and nothing comes of it. And again, Funeral Service are delayed.
I liked the idea of what Pluha was going to do there, but I felt like he got a little bit baited by his team. He was walking forward. They had 20% ad. If they'd kept going forward and taking that Uber onto the spawn, that would have allowed Funeral Service to actually get some cap time and maybe finish off the round. But because they drop him, everyone else backs off, and then it's almost like the opponents smelt blood, and they were like, okay, let's go forward. They use their Uber and they get the force, and Funeral Service at that point, even though they had the better Uber, could do nothing. They didn't have players. Saying is like that, Barthes manages to get 2 kills there, 1 onto Pluha and 1 onto Silvermaster the medic, so Gimme opponent in total control right now.
Barthes still hasn't left this area, despite the fact he's been challenged multiple times. The man is still up here without any heals. Real heavy mains don't require medic mains, you know, that's just the way it is. He's going to be able to pound on his own. They've lost Silvermaster to Barthes, who's going on a massive 9 kill streak at the moment, mows down 4 players in quick succession. And this is a clinic in how to play the class.
He is an independent heavy main and he don't need no medic. Okay, he is just doing stuff by himself. Like I said, he is this heavy that he rarely dies, and this kind of segment of gameplay shows that it's not just because he sits around his medic, takes 40% heals and just protects. No, he's actually doing stuff, getting himself into positions to make plays, not only protecting his medic but actually being offensive, and he's taken the medic down twice in a row there. So not looking good for Funeral Service right now. It's going to be a 10-minute plus time, which we never like to see it go into double figures on the minute counter, but that's even if they get an opportunity to push this last point. Jorge does use the Uber, so Silvermaster with 100% in the bank right now is going to have a huge advantage, but it's looking like they're having to battle for every single inch here, Gamma.
Yeah, Gimme opponent just are not respecting them. Stinging, peeking very far forward. They've got the teleporter back up in the upstairs area, so they can go back into a more normal hold, I suppose. And it can be quite hard to break this, even with Uberad. They really need to just walk forward here and disrespect them a bit more, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to go balls to the wall and be like, you know what, we've got this huge Uber advantage. Let's just go in. Uber in, see how many kills you get. It looks like they want to go in through the underneath here. Stan, though, with the sticky traps. Takes down Silvermaster and Fridge. That is going to be a drop. The cleanup comes in. Lanz is going to take down Pluha and Cloudy. That is 5 players down very, very quickly. Stan just, you know, having the traps there. Just in preparation, they know they had an Uber disadvantage, they had to play defensively, and again, Jorge with this huge Uber ad now. Silvermaster, I don't think has had an opportunity to use an Uber for quite a few minutes now, and that's going to start getting into the heads of Funeral Service. That's going to start making them think, okay, can we actually push this? Like, let's start again, let's rebuild, let's get a force.
I think they might need to just take a long, deep breath and reset a little bit after this round, because remember, this is best of 3 upwards, so you know they can still come back and they can still obviously win this map. Nothing is ever written fully yet, but that's just the aggression from Gimme opponent are forcing these awkward fights in positions that Funeral Service really don't want to take, and of course when you drop to traps, that also doesn't help you.
It's always a tough one to swallow as a medic, because it's so easy to avoid if someone checks the corner. But they didn't even check the corner, they just used the Uber this time, and they did check it, and Stan with the traps takes down Pluha. So they don't get the drop, but they managed to take down the demo, which is nearly as bad because there's no damage potential coming out of that. DQZ is going to get a couple, gets a third, gets a fourth. He gets 4 kills there, including the medic, and he was just in the position there with that conch to help his team out with that health on hit, getting that movement speed and cleaning people up. And Funeral Service going in for the exchange there, it's almost like they just threw their bodies against a brick wall and wiped out.
The worst part about all that was Stan actually DC'd in the middle of that, and it didn't make a difference. It really didn't make a difference. DQZ coming in with the perfect flank at the right time to sandwich them and pick up all of those important kills, and Jorge again perpetually sitting with Uber advantage, never having to use it, never being killed. It's a nice ride for a medic when you have games like this.
It is. It's quite... I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit distracting because you're sat there and you're thinking, I'm not dying, no one's pressuring me, no one's jumping me, no one's trying to stab me. I'm just going to chill, maybe play a bit of RuneScape on my other monitor. You know, just things that you get distracted. And that's maybe when mistakes happen, but Jorge is just so experienced. I know he's going to be switched on the entire time. Another Uber exchange, and there we go. Even though he wasn't close enough to his team, Jorge manages to flash his heavy in time to keep him alive. And Fridge is trying to disperse the enemy gamers enough to maybe help people get picked off, but everyone on Funeral Service is so weak they have to back off. And just look at all those health numbers. Everyone is just unable to fight, and 1 minute left on the clock, Gamma. This is last chance saloon for them on this round.
Very much so. They're probably only going to get one more opportunity for an Uber, and their health was so bad after that post-Uber fight, as you mentioned. So many people just on 20 HP. Babashi coming up onto Jorge, who... oh my god, he dies to fall damage, despite actually dodging a lot of what Boshi was doing there, and they've finally managed to take this upstairs area in tiles. They're going to try and spam out the sentry. Cloudy getting a kill on Lanzer, but being picked up in return. They're losing players one by one, though. They need to really try and get onto Barthes, maybe spam him out a bit. But the cart really close, right on the edge. Vikman trying to get it as the spy cap main. He's still on it. He's headshot by Stingen, though. This highly aggressive positioning from Pluha, trying to keep the spawns locked down, but he's so weak. 10 seconds remain. They have a pyro on the cart, but he's knocked off it by Sterno. He's in this fantastic position. They were just throwing their bodies at the cart, and one remains. It's Fridge, and he manages to get the cap right at the death as overtime was being played. 17 minutes, but they get there, CeeJaey.
That was so close. I think Boshi just absolutely rinsed them there. He gets the kill onto Jorge, but after that he just started picking up kill after kill after kill, and he was just everywhere across that last point. He jumped up top, he jumped over to the side. You know, people didn't know where to look, and everyone else was just flooding onto the cart. DQZ actually got a triple kill of players on the car. There were 4 people pushing. He kills 3 of them. It was only Fridge. If Fridge had died as well, the car wouldn't have toppled in. But it does. It's not a good time. It's not the Mona Lisa of upwards times. I mean, 17:30 is possibly one of the longest times I've seen. But capping that last point, means that the enemy team has to push all the way as well. So at least you have that opportunity to maybe stall them on one of the other points and really put the pressure on them.
Yeah, you're giving yourself a chance to win by capping all the points, you know. Obviously, they could, even if they hadn't capped that, who knows, maybe they would have stalemated them out on third, you never know. But now we get to see how Gimme opponents approach pushes. Sterno looking for that spy initially. DQZ is actually on the direct hit, so it's probable that they're going to look for a sentry kill here rather than a medic.
Yeah, medic is often that people think, let's go for the medic, let's get that. They do actually get Silvermaster pretty weak, but taking down the dispenser is something. But yeah, it's not necessarily the medic you need to get. Something like a sniper or an NG or even a demo can really open things up for you and give you that opportunity to, you know, get into a position to be able to make an exchange really, really good for you.
I really like this sentry positioning coming out from Funeral Service. It's quite far forward, so it'll catch any jumpers that come in to try and force their medic, or indeed get a kill onto Cloudy or anything like that. But it is one weakness is you can be spammed from that far right hand side by the direct hit, and yeah, they're going to have to back it up now. And again, both teams just kind of feeling each other out, just trying to get that card forward a little bit before they even push, so that they can capture the point afterwards. And here comes the Uber now coming in onto Stan, trying to get the important kill onto the demo man, but he isn't able to get it. The Uber comes out just in time. It's far better for Funeral Service, but they're not actually going to be able to pick up anything really with this apart from Barthez. Stingen actually gets the important kill onto Cloudy. Kluha is very, very low, going down, weak to that spam, and now Stan just walks around the corner, and Sterno had bombed in on the Pyro class, walking forward. Pyro 2020 gameplay here as Stan continues to walk forward, disrespecting on half HP.
Yeah, he doesn't fear, and actually the combination of him and Stingen, they take down both Marissa and Pluha, so that combo is down. And you know, Jorge though gets taken down by Boshi, so Boshi in with the jump is able to buy his team a bit of a lifeline there. Stingen though is on a 5 kill streak, takes down Fridge. Fridge did an excellent job denying that Uber. He did exactly what Strona was doing when Gimme opponent were defending that first point. The only difference was, once he completely denied that Uber, Gimme opponent decided to keep going. They decided to repush and recommit. And that's what Funeral Service didn't do in that first point. They decided to back off and wait for their next Uber to try again, whereas Gimme opponent sort of used the Uber, had all their chess pieces in the right place, and then just repushed. And as you can see, this momentum has allowed them to keep going and nearly get this second point. They're losing a lot of players right now. Barthez will get cleaned up. Jorge just has Asics for company. Vickman is lurking down the spy. Bluehair is just going forward. Vickman will get Asics, but Jorge lives to fight another day. But Silvermaster on that advantage now, 100% in the bank. And I don't know, Funeral Service managed to claw their way back onto this second point.
They were barely even on the point really at one point there. They just had the sentry far back in the door and their demo man walking forward, and that was it. They had no one else on the point at all, but it appeared that Gimme opponents weren't able to convert that into a capture point. The card is very, very close though, and it looks like Funeral Service are now going to walk forward and set up a more forward hold to try and regain some of that lost ground. The Uber charge is coming in now, and it looks like Fridge is trying to deny as much as he possibly can in this exchange, and they're just knocking players all over the place. But the health, not very good for Funeral Service. Turno walking in now, just burning down the combo members. Someone stop this man. He's quite literally on fire. They're going to be able to get the cap off this, and Jorge lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the lack of fear from Gimme opponent when they're pushing there. They knew that there was a bit of an advantage going on. Funeral Service use him, but they don't get enough picks. DQZ decides to just go in. He takes down Cloudy and the sentry with the direct hit. And then once that Uber was over, because Funeral Service didn't get enough important picks, Gimme opponent just hold that W key. They just get aggressive. And Stinghand with the body shot is going to take down Silvermaster. That is going to be a med pick. He gets some more headshots ringing out there. DQZ still on the direct hit. He can take down Pluha. And with 4 players down, it's going to be really hard for Funeral Service to get any more time on this third point. And Gamma, as we know, this third point is so essential in getting some more time on the board for you.
if you can snowball this point at any opportunity, you really should try to, and that's exactly what they've done. They did the exact same thing when they capped first, and that their whole combo just pushed right on forward, disrespecting, trying to take ground and being aggressive. They did the same thing here, walking forward, denying any potential of a setup here, but there's actually going to be a force going on to Jorge, probably not the way he would have wanted, kind of trapped in there in that house area, but they do manage to get upstairs on fourth as they capture third, doing two things at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, they got that simultaneous cap going down and pressure at the same time, like Lanza's on the cart. Like I said earlier, this gives an opportunity for Funeral Service to actually, you know, defend last. So it is going to be 12 minutes on the map time that they have to hold, but technically it's only 9.5 minutes because there is a round timer. Max time of that is 10 minutes. So because of the fact that they pushed last, if they hold for the next 10 minutes, they will win this round. So it's a big ask, but the possibility was there because of the fact that they capped. But it's a very, very passive hold coming in. Pluher is going to have the Uber used onto him, but he's looking for people to kill. There is no one. They're all upstairs. They're all hiding. DQZ and Barthes are kind of tag teaming here. Silvermaster runs away. Jorge does die to Pluher, but is it going to be enough?
It doesn't look like it to me. The positioning from Gimme opponent is so good. They're not committing to anything, spamming all the doors, making sure that they're in a position to finally cap it. It looks like they will do so with GQZ on the card. Much faster time from them, and that's got to be demoralizing in the first game that you're playing. Actually, they're going to go live straight away to the second round.
No fear, no fear. You forget about that first round and you move on. You know, Funeral Service are going to be like, you know what, let's just get on with it. And let's try again. Let's learn from our mistakes. Gimme opponent want to keep the bit between their teeth and keep going there. But I think the big difference was just the aggression coming out of Gimme opponent. They did not fear going forward, and they did not fear when they were defending. There was no moment where they gave up any ground that they shouldn't have. And that's what Highlander is all about. That's what TF2 competitive is all about. You know, you want to have that space. If you've got space that enables the rest of your team to walk forward, take that space, and you know, when you're holding the correct area of ground, it makes it much easier to fight your opponent. And it felt like on the defense, Funeral Service were just being a little bit too passive, giving up too much ground to their opponents, and when they were attacking, they weren't really just fully committing. Sometimes it's better to have an Uber exchange and recommit and fully wipe, but at least get enough damage done that you can push again later, rather than just sitting there and waiting. But we'll see what round 2 brings us.
Yeah, exactly. When you're on that offensive team, you have the shorter respawns, so why not throw your life away, you know? In order to get some space, deny a setup, kill a sentry, kill a medic, who knows? Let's see what Stan and Boshi want to do as they walk forward here. Stan just taking some ground on the hill initially, just trying to see where things are. The sentry is in that forward position coming out from Funeral Service, and they're just trying to get some spam down on it first. There's no really aggressive movement, just feeling each other out, getting the card forward before they decide what to do next.
Yeah, getting up to that corner is really good. It's about as far as you can go before you're really risking your life to get it, you know, another centimetre or two. Actually, we see a kill out of Stingham there. He's going to take down the heavy, but Pluher is also going to take down Barthes, so both heavies eliminated out of the equation. And Cloudy there is going to take down Assex. He's carrying his sentry, so the sentry also gets destroyed, so no engineer control on this side of the map. But DQZ is going to go for a bit of a jump right now. Gets denied. I think that was a nice rocket from Boshi. Some backstabs coming in from Vikman, and Silvermaster stays there untouched, undamaged. And yeah, I mean, not a bad defense so far from Funeral Service. Gimme opponent have to think of something else now.
Yeah, they're really going to have to try and find any particular holes in the defense. I mean, you know, they got the heavy, which would have opened up a playground area for them a little bit more. Stan's actually just walking forward, no respect whatsoever, and now Jorge is out of spawn. Looks like they might just take a trade here, having realised they weren't going anywhere with it. But oh man, they're not actually going to get any damage on that sentry at all. It's just pulled back, and the medic is being levitated into the sky using that mouse 2 button. Barthes has taken a really aggressive position on this far side though, and he's just walking forward, and Sterno comes in with the jetpack, and they're just collapsing on the team. There's only 2 players left alive, and they're not the ones that they'd want to be alive at the moment.
One of them's Cloudy, who just respawned. Meath is there. He's going to go in straight onto Stan, and it's not going to be enough to take him down. Again, just to reiterate what I said like earlier on, and you know, in between the rounds, there was an Uber exchange. Funeral Service on the defense had a much better Uber, but once the Ubers were over, Gimme opponent decided they were going to press that W key and walk straight into them. Stan gets 4 kills and a ton of damage, and Strona is able to finish people off by just launching himself in as well. So they're just going forward. Like you said, there is no respect being shown here by Stan. He is just going forward and wanting to take fights. And Funeral Service are really struggling to deal with that aggression right now.
In fact, they're struggling so hard they aren't even on the second, really. They're starting to walk forward now, but they're walking forward into a Demo Man, and they're going to drop everyone in their combo apart from the Pyro, who's going to be still alive. They haven't been they don't even have the Uber, I suppose, so of course they dropped them, and they're trying to sticky them off. The Silver Master's trapped and will have to respawn backwards. The sentry that they've put onto third is already sapped. Look at the positioning from Gimme opponent already.
Yeah, there's an Uber in the hands of Funeral Service, but do you think they're going to be able to retake third off of this? I mean, Strono's there. He's trying to deny it. It's not looking too pretty right now.
They do have the Uber. Like, they could just drop down with their heavy and onto an entire team as a shiny heavy. You know, it's in close quarters. It's exactly what you want to see as the heavy man, but instead they're going to just walk around, and Silvermaster's actually on Boshi, and they're going to be forced here. But look at Jorge, he's already so far back. They're already for, and the cart is still going forward.
Yeah, I definitely had another vote towards shiny heavy there. That was definitely the play. Walking all the way around. Look at Stan. He's going to use the Uber. He just jumps forward, and he does get taken down by Vigman there. But he just jumped forward. Silvermaster is going to die to Lanza, but Meath, the other scout, is going to take down Jorge. So both medics dying to scouts there in the aftermath of those Ubers. But I'm not sure what Funeral Service were doing. There didn't seem to be any sense of urgency. They just walked all the way around, and when they did Uber in, they dropped Pluha, and it just seems very, very messy right now.
These chaotic fights that Gimme opponent are kind of forcing those, you know, it's not helping them in that sense. It's hard for Funeral Service to be able to deal with it. But, you know, throughout all of it, they've managed to keep that sentry up and their sniper, which means they can still deny the card a little bit. Jorge was flirting with death there by standing on the card in that sight line. But they really need to get more pressure on this point, or else they will just cap it.
Yeah, I mean, they're relying on the sentry doing stuff, but they're losing players here. Marissa goes down, Cloudy goes down. Those are two classes you kind of want to go up. Strono with the reflect pipe. Pluha ends up killing himself and his medic with his own pipe. Strono with the reflex. This man has no chill. And this is going to be so difficult for Funeral Service to even hold on for another minute. Big Uber for Jorge. Silvermaster's going to be respawning, but look, Jorge drops down. He's like, hey team, I need someone to Uber. Strona is going to oblige and run forward and just start cleaning up. They're literally on the spawn right now. And look at the amount of space and time Asics and Lanza have to push that cart. No worries at all.
They're actually starting to lose a few players here, but crucially the cart pushers are still there. One gets headshot. Scout still on and has to jump off it though. Gets the important demo kill, but for the moment Funeral Service have managed to hold on to the point. But no, the Scout goes in the pit, knocked into it by hit scan damage. The backstab by Jerkus onto the Pyro. Bit of a revenge for spy mains everywhere there. And with everyone else on the cart, they will get it pushed. That's 5 minutes 48. That's a pretty quick time.
It's a pretty quick time, yeah. They did sort of eke out another sort of 20 seconds maybe on the last point there. But whether that comes into play, we'll see. They're going to need to be a lot more aggressive than they were in the first round. Otherwise, Gimme opponent are going to take this map 2-0. Of course, this is a best of 3, so we'll be seeing a second map regardless. We'll be moving on to product. But, you know, Funeral Service, they seem a little bit shell-shocked right now because they don't seem to be winning any fights. They're getting picks, they're getting the odd thing here or there, but every time there is an exchange, whether it's Uber or just an all-out DM fest, they are losing out, and it seems to be a big problem so far.
Yeah, the chaos situations are definitely favouring Gimme opponent because they actually use them. You know, as we've said multiple times, you know, when you have those post-Uber fights, yeah, you know, you can respect the enemy team to a point, but being aggressive will get you ground, will get you the important kills in those chaotic post-Uber situations, and that really has been the biggest difference between the teams so far.
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, as the legendary Emilio Estevez once said, the best way to win games in Highlander, or the easiest way, is just to press W. If you're aggressive and you're in the faces of the enemy teams, you're not giving them time to think. Look at Silvermaster, he's actually already out of spawn, and they want to be aggressive here, Gamma. They want to go straight in. I don't think they were going to go for suicide waves.
It doesn't look like it at the moment, and in fact, there you go, they take the Uber straight away, but there has been no force as of yet. They still haven't used the Uber on the defending team. Now they'll use it onto the Pyros. Jorge goes down very, very, very weak. He's going to have to be careful in this post-Uber that he doesn't get picked up by stray spam, but they're actually going to get all the important kills, with the exception of Silvermaster. He managed to get back into spawn. The bomb forward by Stan onto Cloudy will pick up the sniper as Stingin continues to pop off in relative comfort and safety.
I was just going to say, look at where Stan was. He was standing on the top right, and he was just raining stickies down, got a bunch of kills. I was like, that's what Funeral Service weren't doing in their defense. They weren't reclaiming that high ground and trying to fight from that point. And then as I was about to say that, he launches forward just to kill the sniper. Because he's trying to take these fights, he's always looking for the next kill, the next point of damage. Silvermaster is at 60%. It's basically equal Ubers here. But Stan is still getting kills. And Funeral Service are still bleeding players, and they're trying to come in from a different angle here. Maybe get Cloudy into a position that he can get a snipe on someone important. Frage is trying to throw those detonator flares out and get something done, but there's not much pressure anywhere else on the map, and it's just very, very easy for Gimme opponent to just collect their thoughts and defend from this line.
It's little things that you can often exploit in games like this, and the fact that Sterno was down on defense for so long, they could have maybe gone aggressive without the mouse 2 button to deny them. Like it's denying this Uber. They managed to get the sentry, but they're not really getting anything else. They're getting some position, I suppose. But Barthes is still alive in his favourite little hidey hole. The health pack won't respawn in time to keep him alive, but they do lose their medic, and they haven't even finished the cap yet as the respawning players come in and clean up the remaining players on Funeral Service's side.
You know what? Credit where it's due. I think that's better than what they were doing before, because look at them now. Look how much space they've got. Boshi's in. Jorge's really weak. He can't commit there. He has to surf away, and they are going to get that first point. So that is quicker than they did before when they were playing it slowly, softly. And Vikman there with the Enforcer is going to finish off Jorge. Pluha dies to a Reflect Pipe again. I think that's about the third or fourth time so far. Maybe his teammates need to say, stop shooting pipes at Pyros, because it's not working out well for us. But I have to say, that is so much better from Funeral Service. The aggression coming out, even though they wiped their entire team, they took so many players out of the defense. The respawns favored the attacking team, and they were able to just go forward.
And going for it again, they are, as Boshi is in the skybox. He's still alive until I say that. Naturally, they're going to get the sentry with the aggression coming in. But DQZ getting so much damage onto the combo. Silvermaster is so weak, manages to get the kill on Jerkus, who's chasing him. But Silvermaster is not safe yet. The bombs forward from DQZ and Stan are going to pick him up, but they're both weak themselves. DQZ so low, he's going to get taken down by a headshot, and with no spam classes, and Jorge going down as well. But this might actually spell an end to their hold if Funeral Service can play aggressively.
I mean, it's fairly well played by Funeral Service. Walker, which is AK Marissa, was just chilling in the house, didn't get noticed, and managed to take down Jorge. So if there's a little bit more time, this would actually have been a really good play, but, you know, on the contrary, it's actually a really good play from Gimme opponent, because they just do the thing where they go forward and get a ton of kills, sacrifice half their team for it, but they have got so much time to play with, essentially, because the pressure is on Funeral Service. Less than 2 minutes for them to go all the way through the map, so Gimme opponent are okay with trading vast swathes of players as long as it ticks down that clock a little bit more.
At this point in time, I don't think it is possible. It's maybe just about if you keep ×3 on it the whole way. But it's these messy fights, again, that Gimme opponent are forcing, these chaotic situations, really makes it quite difficult. There's actually a crits coming out onto Boshi, but he gets sent flying, and Silvermaster isn't able to keep on him. That crits gets essentially nothing, and now Uber for Jorge, minute 20 seconds remaining on the clock. They still haven't captured the second point. It ain't looking good for Funeral Service.
No, I'm pretty sure it's over. I think it takes about 43 seconds to go from third to last. Second to third is probably the longest most difficult point of the map, because not only is it the longest, but it also has the ramps that you have to try and get that cart up. So it is going to be a pretty clinical 2-0 coming out of Gimme opponent. I mean, on their defensive phase, 17 minutes and 30 seconds, and then when they push, they do it in about 5 minutes. That's pretty damning on the side of Gimme opponent, and I'm guessing Funeral Service will just have to lick their wounds here and just sort of dust themselves off and hope that they put a better showing in Koth, because if they can outmuscle them on Koth, then definitely, you know, with the next two maps being Product and Lakeside, big crit there from Boshi will take down two, just boosting his logs a little bit. I think I think Funeral Service are definitely going to be reeling a little bit from this.
They will be, but I think what's very critical to note is that there has been an improvement from that first push attempt. They have clearly worked on things. They have said, you know what, we're going to walk forward a little bit more, we're going to disrespect them a little bit more, as there's an interesting Frontier Justice play coming out there. But it won't matter. That's 2-0 on upward for Gimme opponents with 2 maps remaining.
We are on to the second map now of this UGC Highlander Season 31 quarter-final. This is the European Platinum Division, Funeral Service versus Gimme opponent. Gimme opponent did win that first map, peel upward 2-0. Funeral Service definitely under the pressure here. They need to win this map to stay in the tie. Otherwise, Gimme opponent will be on to the semi-final, and Meath is going to be the first casualty of this exchange, but DQZ will lose out the soldier battle to Boshi. But it's looking pretty good for Gimme opponent right now. They've got this space, they've got the ground, and it seems to be just waiting to get the kills reeling in.
Crucially, actually, they didn't just pick up Silvermaster with some nice pipes from Stan over the point. At the very beginning of that mid-fight, Pluha went down quite weak. He took a sticky to the face, and they never really recovered from that. It's something very, very simple. Just having the enemy demo man being in a better position at the start of a mid-fight, you're in a better position for the rest of the game.
Yeah, sometimes it's not a case of which kills you get or anything like that. It's can you get damage on the players that are going to be important during that mid-fight. And with Pluha that week, he couldn't really commit or do anything getting across the point. And Jorge now with 100% of Uber in the bank. He has a lot of space and time, but Stan does go down to Cloudy's headshot there, so Silvermaster is kind of far forward here for a player who only on 40% Uber, and it is going to be an instinct. Lanzo is going to take this Uber, he's going to chase him through main here. There's so many players to pick from. He takes down Pluha, he is still far forward with the assistance of Jerkas, but Jerkas will get taken down. Walker will also go down to Lanza, but they don't get Silvermaster. Jorge does get a saw though, but because it was on Vickman while he was disguised, it doesn't count towards his Uber total. Silvermaster with the Uber now, he's going to have to do something big here. No. I jinxed it.
DQZ, that was an unbelievable bomb. I was watching that from an aerial above you, and it was just glorious to watch. That whole situation was so much better from Funeral Service. They took down the demo man, and then they took the space. They were aggressive. They walked forward, and they even kept their medic alive, because Scout Uber like that, there's only so much he can do if the medic also has players to run out and body block for him. But then DQZ comes in, rescuing this situation for Gimme opponent, and that clock is still ticking down.
I got a coronary just there. I just saw Silvermaster walk past 5 stickies, but Stan didn't dare. He would have got like a bunch of kills. They still may get some more kills here, as the Uber is going to be used onto Lanza again. DQZ jumps in deep, but they actually lose more players than they kill. Both Stan and Barthis, part of the combo, are going to go down. And with a 50% advantage here, Silvermaster is going to be able to just help his team walk forward and get some pressure down onto this concrete area. And they should be able to get the cap for the first time in this round and maybe get themselves a bit of a foothold to hold for some length of time.
They're now in the position that Gimme opponent were in, that they have full Uberad, they have all the players alive, they have their sniper in a good position. Now let's see what they can do with it and how Gimme opponent will aim to crack this. They're actually coming up close on Uber themselves. 65% already is pretty good. The demo man is going to come in. Actually, it's Stan looking for Silvermaster, who's withdrawn into the house, but no, he dies to DQZ coming in from behind with the rockets. That is a drop, and they're going to get the point back. 44 seconds on the clock. This is not looking good for Funeral Service in this round.
Yeah, that's really tough to take. I mean, they did so well in kiting those Ubers earlier on, and in the first time they have the point and have to defend against the sack wave, they lose their medic and Gimme opponent take the point for free. They have the Uber, they're going to use the Uber. Stan is actually so weak, a lot of flashing has to go on, so they can't really chase. Slams is going to be onto Cloudy here, and it is going to get the kill. Can he get any more? He's actually going to go behind, and Meef is going to have to try and hunt him down. Can he win this 1v1? He does. Meef is going to take down Lanza, and there is an Uber advantage here for Funeral Service, but they've lost so many players, Gamma. It's going to be difficult for them to hold on.
Combined spam coming in from Stan and DQZ from opposite sides. So much damage. The Uber is not really going to be a factor here. We're already in overtime. The heavy on the point though does go down. Bartha's 2 Pluto's stickies. Stingin, however, gets the retaliation heavy kill, and they're just cleaning players up now. Silvermaster dies again, and they're with no heals, no medic. There's Pyro walking onto the point with Meef, but it won't matter. That is a fairly commanding first round win for Gimme opponents.
That was actually looking not too bad for Funeral Service. Like, they had this Uber advantage. They had more players alive. They were trying to contest the point. As long as they kept one person on the point, just keeping it active and keeping it alive, it may have been good. But it was a Polish double axe. Stan and Stinger getting about 3-4 kills apiece, just totally destroying them. And sometimes it's players like that who turn up on the day and just pull off, the playing to the capabilities that we know they are worthy of. Stinger, as I say that, is on a 3k, takes down Silvermaster straight away. No heals on the side of Funeral Service, and it may be time for a Funeral Service for them as Gimme opponent already on the cap. Huge advantage for Jorge. This is looking harder and harder for the Russian side.
Stan's already walking forward on the cliff. They have the full Uber out here. They could have some sort of forward holding shenanigans if they'd like to, but players are coming up now. They're not really going to get an opportunity. Stan is going to go down to Meef, actually going really aggressively onto the point, and with no demo man again. This is a scenario that Funeral Service can take advantage of. They need to be careful though that Silvermaster stays alive and can actually use an Uber.
Yeah, Jorge here has to use the Uber on Jorge. Using Uber on himself, of course, but also onto Lanza. Lanza sees Silvermaster. He kills Silvermaster. He does not want to get out of there without getting that medic frag. It is going to cost him and his own medic their lives. But the fact that they still control the point and have enough players alive, they're going to keep fighting this. Boshi jumps forward and just manages to survive there on 25 HP. So many of the Russian side are very, very weak, and they're trying to capture him. Marissa doing a great job trying to get some cap time, but Bartis is there, DQZ is there. They're fighting this tooth and nail. They do not want to give it up. Even though they had no heals, they still wanted to fight. And again, Stan walking forward. He fears no man, and he's going to get so much damage down that it's... Oh, he gets taken down by Boshi though. Boshi gets launched back away, and I'm feeling the aggression we were seeing at the end of Upward isn't being reciprocated again on this map here, Gamma.
They're just not being allowed to. The absolute combined spam coming out from Stan and DQZ, making it so hard. They have to lose so much health to gain any cap time at all, and they've gained so much cap time there. Full minute and a half gone off the clock for them. Full Uber ad coming up now for Silvermaster, but Jorge's Uber is not far behind. It'll be interesting to see how both teams approach this one.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Funeral Service have to chill, and they have their Uber, and it's going to be a question of whether Gimme opponent decides to go for another sack wave, or if they just want to take an exchange. And I think the way they're playing, they'd be happy doing either. But Stingen is down, maybe they're going to go for a sack instead. Stan is just walking through. He's actually just trying to capture the point with Strono and just throw damage out, and actually does get the force just by throwing pipes over. The counter Uber comes out of Jorge, trying to keep Stan alive. Stan just keeps want to walk forward. He's piping, he's sticking, he's getting so many kills. And they are going to get the cap as they're just flooding over the point. A lot of them are weak right now. Stan is somehow still alive. Marisa with the frontier justice is going to get a crit kill onto Jerkas, and Bartis also goes down. If Silvermaster takes his team forward, they may be able to get a kill, but another reflect pipe, Gamma. Another reflect pipe.
That is yet another team for the night, it appears. Reflex coming out. Look at the disrespect from Ori, just standing right in front of Cloudy saying, "I dare you to shoot me." And Cloudy will actually die for that because Lanzer just walks forward onto the other side of the map. Disrespect getting the kill onto the sniper. Crucially though, Silvermaster did manage to get himself out after that Uber exchange. So they actually still have Uber coming up very shortly, 70%. But look at Lanzer again, he's just on the demo man, getting the crucial kill onto Pua, who just can't seem to stay alive in crucial situations at the moment. The scout walking forward, taking down anyone who dares walk forward.
No, you're absolutely right. There's always a player there stopping it being made easy for Funeral Service to do something. But actually, for the first time, Gimme opponent have a worse Uber, and it's going to be me doing the aggression, just walking forward, trying to get some cap time here. Barthis is very weak on the rock. He's going to get an arrow to try and keep himself alive. Stan is going to go down to Vic when huge jumping from Boshi, a lot of damage. But again, they're not finishing up the kills. So many people are taking damage on the side of Gimme opponent, but because of the way they're playing and Funeral Service aren't being aggressive enough, they're not getting the kills. And Stingan takes down Silvermaster, and they're probably going to be able to recap this without much contesting.
That certainly looks like what they're attempting to do, and with only 10 seconds left on the clock, they wouldn't have to hold on to it for very long. They are being made to pay for this, though, losing quite a lot of health there on Stan in particular, as they try to recapture this point, which they haven't quite done yet. It looks like Sterno's going to do it now himself, just by walking up, but Stingan dies in the background to Cloudy.
They're still fighting this, and I like this. I like Fridge, what's doing. Fridge and Mifa like, you know what, no, I'm here. I'm still fighting. Standing on the point. Lanza's trying to cap it, but he cannot cap it as long as there is a Russian player stood on top of that point. And this is what we want to see out of Funeral Service. We want them to be saying, hey, no, we have control of the point, and they're actually eking out so much time here. This is so good. Marissa will go down, and there's a lot of weak plays. Fridge also goes down, and I think the cap may eventually happen. But Vic went on top of Stingan. Stingan had a really, really good first round, but he has been under so much pressure this one. But 3 seconds, and I don't think it's going to be enough.
Man, that round Lanza just absolutely popped off on Skate. He was just walking around the point, owning it. Nobody was able to deal with it, and with Stan outputting so much damage, it's so easy for a Skate to be able to clean up kills like that, and Pluha just could not stay alive as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think if they play more like they did in the final sort of 60 seconds there, they're going to have a much better chance. And look at them. Look at Pluha. So far forward. Takes down Sting with the pipes. Strono, Astix, Jerkus, they're all going to go down here. Lanza is going to pick up a kill onto Boshi. But 4 kills coming out of Funeral Service there is a much better showing. And for once they actually walked across the point, and Gimme opponent were just not prepared for that at all.
That was much better from Pluha there, being able to take the heals, walk forward and do the damage. And here comes the sack wave coming into Silver after DQZ and Stan picking up the important kills, and there's so much damage. If Gimme opponent want to walk forward and use the space that is now being granted to them, that was an incredible sack wave.
Yeah, these sack waves, I mean, we've seen, what, 2 of them, and they've both been so effective in getting what they want. I mean, after that incredible mid-fight, it's only going to give them 30 seconds on that clock and an uber disadvantage, and it's so frustrating to be on the side of a team where you do so well and then the enemy team pulls off a sack wave like that and it's all just thrown in the bin. So now, again, Funeral Service are going to have to try and pick themselves up on this round and say, okay, what are we going to do to get rid of Jorge and his uber? We need to do something. We need to get rid of Stinghand as well, because he is on a 3-kill streak and he is denying anyone starting to walk forward and pressure down.
Pluha attempted the bomb there, but he gets denied with combined hit scan from 2 different sources across the point. That's something I'm really liking from Gimme opponent. The aggression never comes from just one angle, it comes from multiple angles, and it's so much harder to deal with that because you're just looking. You've got threats on your right, you've got threats on your left, you've got a sniper in the background. How do you deal with them all? And they're just not dealing with them at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if that coordinated aggression comes in, but the sack wave comes in from Funeral Service and they go in different directions, and Jorge doesn't take any damage whatsoever. So we see
that was a bit unfortunate.
It's a bit unfortunate, but you see the polar opposites there. You were literally just talking, Gamma, about how the synergy comes in and the coordination of people coming in from different angles. And the 2-man sack wave didn't even get any damage on the medic. And actually, Strono reflecting that Christmas ball back across the point. Boshi gets a nice force onto Jorge, and they get a lot of cap time here. So maybe there's potential if Silvermaster hadn't just got backstabbed by Jerkus.
Yeah, that was, again, a little bit unfortunate. You need to try and keep your med alive in these situations, obviously. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give yourself an advantage of some sort, whether that be heals or uber. And if your med keeps going down in those situations, there's not much you can really do. Boshi comes forward with a nice skip jump, though, looking to try and get some space. He's pulling so many eyes back to look at him. Both Heavy and Pyro turn to look. They can walk forward and use this Camp Funeral Service, and that's what they're doing. It looks like Pluha coming up on that left-hand side of the point for them. They actually get Stan as well. Nice gunning down from Walker at distance. And they're actually going to get the cap here and try and stabilize, get some time.
Exactly, that's what they need to do. Stabilize here, keep it cool. They are 2 rounds down here, 1 more round for Gimme opponent, and they will take the map and the entire series and move on to the semi-finals. So Funeral Service right now are, they have their backs against the walls, right? They need to win the next 3 rounds and the next map. And they're in a good position to do so. It's equal levers right now, and they are in control of the point, but Stinghand takes down Cloudy. Marissa's gone down to a backstab. The Uber Exchange is going to be used onto Lanza. Pluha is going to try and walk forward and get some damage down. He does take down the sniper. And Stan has also gone down to Boshi, so this is not looking too bad for the Russians right now. But they lose Boshi. They've lost a few more players, and Gimme opponent are just saying, okay, we're going to take those picks and we're going to get aggressive with it.
They're getting aggressive with it, but they're actually starting to lose a few players now. But Taylor gets disconnected from the med beam again. He's going to go down. Walker trying to gun down as much as he can, but he's only a heavy, being shot at by multiple angles. Look at him twirling around in distress. It looks like Plat and Jorge trying to come across on the left-hand side of the point and cliffside, trying to get some spam out behind that rock. They're all so weak back there, apart from Silvermaster himself. They can't quite get much more cap time on it, and the times are actually starting to equalise here. Silvermaster going down a bit weak though. Meath kind of walk forward. They actually get Silvermaster, stand with the spam pipe over the top. Fully barraged in a minute to go. This ain't looking good.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about space, right? You know, if you let a team take the space and, you know, they're aggressive enough and take that space, then you're not going to be in a position to win that fight. And everyone was kind of weak across the board there, but Gimme opponent were just saying, okay, let's walk forward, and it paid dividends because they take down the medic, they get enough kills, and they recapture the point, and now they have a huge Uber advantage. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock. They just need to use this Uber and not let go of that point. Stan's going to get denied by the air blast from Fridge, but then he just jumps in so deep here. They're going to try and get some kills. Strono will go down to Meath, and Stan's also gone down to Walker, so maybe this is opportunity for Funeral Service to walk forward here, but they've only got 10 seconds to do it.
And they lost their medic too. Jerkas came in on the pincer to stop or to shoot down the medic from behind. It's only really Walker on the point. Boshi is the only one really near it at the moment. They're not going to get there in time, really. Oh, are they? Vicman on the point gets the stab. He's going to get gunned down by Asix, maybe? Or yeah, who knows? I can't speak. Stan, though, going to lock down the point, get some stickies on it, and that is all she wrote.
I looked at that from a really unfortunate angle because Boshi was just on the horizon and he could have maybe jumped onto the point, but he was on fire and he had 10 HP and he just burnt to death, and it was like, you know, that's kind of how that round ended. But it will be a pretty crisp 3-0 to Gimme opponent there. They are going to be taking both maps here, both Upward and Product, so we won't be seeing any Lakeside. I think we'll be seeing some interesting semi-finals. You were talking earlier, Gamma, about Phaler Esports being probably the favourite on this side of the bracket, and I think Gimme opponent will definitely give them a run for their money. But thank you for joining me tonight, Gamma. It's been a pleasure casting with you as always, and thank you to Wiethoofd for doing all the production in the background. We've been Critscast. Don't forget to check out all of our sponsors and all of our social media, and we'll be returning with more Sixes, playoffs, and UGC playoffs in the near future. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Hi, old beaver! Away!